Let's move to our next presentation that will be comparing Omnichannel PnL with conventional PnL. That will be done by Tapan Acharya, who is the Chief Revenue Officer with Arvind Internet. Tapan is responsible for the business and customer engagement process at Omni. He has upwards of 2 decades of experience working with software brands, fulfilling various roles from market development to business management at organizations like IBM, Microsoft, Salesforce, Akamai, Freshworks, etc. He has spent the last decade in evolving SaaS canvas of India. Tapan is an IIM Bangalore alumni, is certified in marketing by Kellogg Business School, and hails from Indore. On that note, all to you, Tapan sir, to start off with your presentation.
Hey Sandeep, thanks a lot. Fareed, fantastic presentation. Lots of learnings from there. So thanks a lot. I will quickly share my desktop. Let me know once you can see my desktop. Sandeep, is my presentation visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So Fareed, thank you. Fantastic start. And you've given me this opportunity to drive deeper from where you've left me. So Fareed talked about a lot of important topics, and especially more on the front end side, how the importance of stores has come, how the entire interaction from the customer from a storefront has completely changed, how fulfillment of online orders also from store has put a lot of pressure on the working capital, because if you need to have a large assortment, to have a large fulfillment happening, because that's what drives the conversion. So what I'm going to drill down is on 3 aspects. I'm going to put some numbers of what I'm seeing, that this is the kind of growth, this is the kind of store fulfillment, this is the kind of impact from a numbers perspective I'm able to see. Secondly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the drivers. What are driving these numbers, and what are the key P&L headers, which is getting impacted. Third, I do have a P&L to show you a representative one. I didn't want to just show you Excel sheet numbers, so I'll talk through the P&L as well. So let me just quickly. So this presentation is divided into 5 large parts. I'll talk about the opportunity and the change, the challenge and the impact, the journeys, and then the P&L comparisons. So various numbers, various reports, but ballpark, if you see, there are approximately 750, 770 million plus internet connections in the country. There are different numbers, different reports. Some are double counting, some are not. There are 450 plus million users who are on smartphones. The number can be actually higher. So these smartphone users are entertaining themselves with shopping. Average data consumption is more like 16 GB per user. And some demographic aspects which builds the opportunity is 50% of India is below 25 years of age. Now, the propensity to consume below a 25 years age person is a very, very high propensity to consume. Also, 65% of India is below 35 years of age. Now, high propensity to consume because 35 years you have a stable job, you have a family generally in India, and you want to shop. So that's impacts the omni-channel a lot. The OTTs are proliferated, and also, as Fareed also talked about, a huge amount of shopping is happening from tier 2 cities and tier 3 towns. Mostly upwards of 55% to 60% orders are happening, are buying on e-commerce. Also, the logistics chain has helped a lot. They are now delivering, forward delivery is in about 97% of the pin codes of the country. And e-commerce ballpark is delivering upwards of 100 million shipments in a month, which is a very, very big impact. Now, the second point I want to come to, what has changed. Now, this is a very, very sad pandemic, and it has impacted families, and the second wave has been ruthless. What it has done is it has not allowed people to step out of their home. And this has directly changed the omni-channel PnL. An omni-channel PnL, and I'd been selling it before the pandemic also, I'd been doing it before the pandemic also. For most of the brands, and I'm talking about a subset of 100 brands, and I'm talking about a subset of 10,000 stores, an omni-channel PnL was about 5%. of the entire P&L. This was mostly lifestyle category. But now I see that omnichannel P&L is about 25% to 30% of the overall P&L in a lifestyle or an electronics category. Now that's a big shift. The entire baseline has changed. Also, I've found that the interstate logistics chains have broken. So logistics partner cannot travel interstate. There are tests and checks and certificates required. So a local store fulfillment is the key. The customer behavior uh, is more related to instant gratification. They want the product now. Now, why do I say it? Cancellation rates are getting impacted. If you cannot deliver today or tomorrow, hey, I don't need this product. If you're delivering 5 days later, maybe I can change my mind and I'll cancel the product. And home delivery is like a given. It's the baseline. Also earlier, when I say, let me just go back 3-4 years, and online shopping was most, old stock merchandise. But okay, there's a discounted merchandise. Now people are buying hugely new stock merchandise. In fact, on marketplaces, if brands are listing new stock merchandise at a much reduced discount, maybe a notional discount, that's moving much faster. Conversion rate is expected to be very high from the stores. If a customer is walking inside the store, they expect that you will, fulfill their needs, and knowing the customer, launching the right promo, communicating the right communications to them, knowing their birthdays, as Farid talked about, empathy calling. Uh, all these are very important trends. And the challenge in the conventional model and today's model is as follows. Now, look at this is the fragmented inventory. Each of these boxes represents either a warehouse or a store, and your inventory, your assortment is stuck in the store. But your demand is coming online from all the channels. So the assortment and demand are completely orthogonal. You have pockets of money stuck into each inventory of a store, and you have pockets of money stuck into the warehouse. But the demand is coming from everywhere. And when you try to cater to these demand, either as Farid talked about, you keep engaging and keep getting more and more working capital stuck in that assortment. And the only way to do it is to, power all the channels. To solve this is to power all the channels with your entire assortment that comes. Now, if your assortment is fragmented, your logistics cost will be very high. For example, if you're trying to, if let's say your warehouse is one location, and for the example's sake, let me choose Delhi, and let's say your most of the sales is coming from, let's say, Mumbai, you are incurring a huge logistics cost, and your margins are under huge pressure. That's the impact. And you're individually blocking the inventory. Also, there is a shift of mindset required. Now, the people are asked to do different tasks. So there's somebody like, Farid also talked about, there are store people, there are every roles chatting with the customer, telling them what are the next offers and promos, could be, packaging the goods for delivery. So entire operational transformation is required, and you need an assisted partner to, help you with that. So what is the version of omnichannel that I've seen work is when you can get a single view of assortment, and all the channels are sipping into from the same assortment. Now you have your, let's say, social commerce sipping into from your stores, or website, or marketplace, or conversational commerce, or store to store, endless aisle, everything going, from the same set of inventory. That's where you have a huge amount of assortment, but of the same cost, but you're fulfilling a large set of demand. So that's the model that I've seen work pretty much well, and it also dawned to me a couple of years back. On the left hand side of this slide that you see, so we came up with this phrase of a storefront. We said it doesn't matter your storefront is physical, or it's a social storefront, or it's a marketplace storefront, or it's a website storefront. It's a storefront. The storefront orders have to come into the same order management system. And the same order management system should be able to hop the order into various stores wherever the inventory is. And you could also change the hopping logic. For example, just examples speaking, if let's say you're shopping from Mumbai, your order should be placed in a Mumbai store because the logistics cost is much lower from there and you fulfillment time is much faster. And also your entire logistics chain, when I say entire, let me just explain the word entire. A logistics partner strong in Sikkim is not the same logistics partner strong in Coimbatore, is not the same possibly logistics partner strong in Rajasthan. So you should be able to orchestrate various logistics partner to fulfill to the customer on time. So that becomes a very, very important aspect. And I want to, before I move to the numbers on the P&L, I want to walk through the customer journeys. Now, a representative customer journey, a customer places an order, let's say from a marketplace or on a website, the order goes to a store and the fulfillment happens to a store. If the order, let's say in a store is not in a sellable condition, the order hops to another store, but the fulfillment happens to the customer. And same is the return journey. As Farid talked about endless aisle, the customer walks into a store, the customer buys, let's say, one product, but the customer wants to buy more. And this happens very often in smaller cities, let's say a Shimoga or let's say a Coimbatore. They may not be carrying the entire assortment of the company line, but a salesperson should be able to show it on a tablet or a device and sell the entire assortment to the customer. The customer could possibly wear a sample item or try a sample item and buy the product online, and it gets delivered to the customer. The conversion rates should be, much, much higher. The same happens on, connecting your offline media advertising into the conversational commerce, where they're able to scan a QR code, move into a conversation, talk to a store guy, and the store person can send it for delivery. Self-delivery or through an assisted delivery, all other possible journeys. Now, these are possible when you're powering the entire assortment to the all the channels. Now let's come into the impact of the cost headers, and then I will go into the numbers. I didn't want to bore you by showing you an Excel sheet. So let me take you to the impact of it. Mostly what I've seen is people are now adopting to cloud-based systems. It's an organic thing that I'm saying, because the capex is low. It reduces your interest cost, because if let's say your capex is very high, your interest cost is very high. Second, the minute your one assortment is powering all the channels, your working capital is lower and you're able to optimize your working capital. There is one more very, very important trade secret, which I'm going to say it now. The store remains fresh. You would have seen 5 years, 6 years back, so many stores, that store has very dated products. It keeps old products. Why? Because that store is not able to push out those products. If those products are online and people are clearing those products out, your store is fresh. Fresh merchandise is then in that store. The conversion rate on the store footfall also is better. And that's a huge impact. Your store image improves. Third, reduce logistics cost. Now, I have my equals, my betters, stalwarts on this discussion with me here on this panel, and you would know that your interstate logistics cost is very, very high. If you're able to put an assortment logic and a fulfillment logic in the same nearby area, you can optimize your logistics cost, least said, up to 35%. And very possibly, if it's the same city delivery, you can reduce it even by 60%. This is a fantastic achievement on improvement on the margins. Also, you have higher conversion rates because your entire assortment is available to the customer. They can buy online, pick up from store, return in store, BOPIS, BORIS, all journeys are covered. Also, Farid also talked about leakage. If the product should not get lost, pilferage, the returns should be optimized. All these specific journeys should be ironed out to ensure that pilferage or leakage is reduced in the entire journey. And we come to optimizing on the people cost. Now, it's a very common thing, but people miss it. And I have seen it personally many times, is when you do a store fulfillment, your warehousing cost suddenly reduces because most of the orders, because of the logistics cost improvement, are getting fulfilled from the store, because that's also where the new stock merchandise is, and it is also reaching faster. Your warehousing cost reduces. Also, if you are able to train people in the store to package in a certain way, because your various orders, now let me just give you an example. Let's say you have all three marketplaces, Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, fulfilling from the store. A package should not get exchanged. There should be separate areas for keeping a package. Order should go into the right packaging material. People should understand that if they cancel too many orders from a marketplace, their store will get blacklisted. So all those trainings and optimizing the people cost is required, and it is a big impact. Like people are the same store, people are in their off timings or in the reduced traffic timings, are able to generate leads, are able to respond to customers with a turnaround time of 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour in the afternoon timings. All this process transformation support goes in a big way. Also, when you're able to direct the marketing communication as per the interests of the customer, your conversion rates, your ROI on your marketing dollar spends change. Your promotions become more efficient. Your LTV, lifetime value of the customer, goes high, and the customer is more satisfied with the brand and becomes the brand ambassador. So these are the few impacts. Now I want to, in the rest of the time, I want to quickly walk through a sample P&L for a certain specific category. This is just a representative sample, just talking about the same. So apologies, the numbers are a little small, but otherwise I wouldn't be able to show it to you. Let's say you're selling you have an MRP of a product as about 1,000 rupees, and this is the conventional model. In the conventional model, this is warehouse delivery. Now, you would only keep a product in the warehouse, possibly, and not on the store. Number one, if you have committed dedicated inventory to a marketplace, or you could, it's an old stock merchandise. So when you're pushing out an old stock merchandise, your discounting is much higher. So you put certain discounting in place, your realized revenue at a 37% discount on a MRP of 1,000 bucks is about 630 rupees. Your COGS, and this is just a representative value, is about 440 rupees for the product. So your gross margin is about 190 bucks. Now your cost headers are, open. Your marketplace commission, fixed fees of a marketplace, logistics fees, because you're delivering from a warehouse, single location, your logistics fees are much higher. Your PG, your higher warehousing cost, admin and manpower marketing costs add up to about 266 bucks on a gross margin of 190. So you end up, in fact, making a loss of 76 rupees. Now, this is a very common thing I have seen across, where people who immediately start a marketplace fulfillment from a warehouse, they do incur in the beginning a certain element of loss. Down the line, they optimize it and they reach to a certain lower level of profit. This is on a conventional warehouse fulfillment model. Now, if you move forward in a store fulfillment model, now in a store fulfillment model, you are also pushing out new stock merchandise. So when you're pushing out new stock merchandise, your average discounting is lesser. It's not an old product, it's a new stock merchandise. People like to buy fresher goods. It's about 23%. I'm just keeping the average very high. It's just a representative average number. Generally, it's not even 23%. Your realized revenue for yourself and also for the marketplace is higher. So keeping the COGS same at 440 rupees, you make a gross margin of 330 bucks. And marketplace commission staying same at around 11%, fixed fees same at around 20%. But the big change, if you see from a previous, your logistics fees was 108 bucks, and now your logistics fees is about 70 bucks. So that gives you again an edge. Your warehousing cost in the previous slide, and I'm on the previous slide, it's about 12-13 rupees. Your warehousing cost is about 3 rupees because most of your orders are getting fulfilled from the store. And I also want to talk, which I have not considered here, is the reduction in cancellation rates. Because people are getting the products faster, I have seen a 60 to 70% reduction in cancellation rates because they are getting same day delivery, next day delivery, etc. Keeping rest of the costs as same on admin, manpower, packaging and marketing cost. You see that here in the you incur only a cost of 235 bucks. And here your profit is a positive of 95 bucks. There is a change where previously you had made a loss of 76, 77 rupees. Here you've made a profit of 95 rupees. So you have got a change of 171 rupees positive on the entire P&L and at a net margin of 12%. Now, these are very, very important aspects, and I have got beaten up on each of these cost headers, knock by knock, and we had to improvise it. And now we are in a situation that for more than 10,000 stores, for approximately 100 plus brands, we are doing it very, very positively. The numbers would be much better for your own website fulfillment because you're not incurring marketplace costs, etc., and the conversion rates, etc., are much higher. So these drivers, this is how they convert into a P&L. We are doing it for so many brands. It's just a representative sample of some of our partners. What I very strongly recommend is to move to store fulfillment model. I have seen that omnichannel is doing wonders into a store fulfillment model. The net impact is much more positive. Profitability is much more higher. Your depreciation of your goods is much more lower. So I've learned it very, very positively that store fulfillment model for omnichannel is working great. That's what I had to present. I didn't want to overshoot on my time. Sandeep, over to you.
Thank you, sir, for your time and presentation. It was wonderful, sir. Now, I will request attendees to please ask your question. You can ask questions in two modes. You can put up your question in the chat box, and we are unmuting you people. You can ask questions one by unmuting yourself. Right? So we are unmuting you people. Please ask question to Tapan one by one. Or you can put up your question in the chat box.
This is Shashwat from Clothing Culture Private Limited. I am referring to the PnL sheet which you have shared, and I have gone through a process of tech transformation for my company and found the capex prohibitive for as far as fashion industry is concerned. You have given a tech cost of around 1.2%, which is around 12 rupees on a sale of 1,000 rupees. So can you just help me to understand the breakup and the capex and the ROI?
Sure, Shashwat. Thanks for the question. So Shashwat, it's not 1.2 rupees on the MRP. It's about 2% on the realized revenue. So
Okay.
I'm taking a tech cost of 2 rupees on the realized revenue. Even if you see, and I'm talking on a case-to-case basis, first concept is you must move to a cloud-based model because CapEx is not there in a cloud-based model. It's negligible. You move to a pay-by-use model. A model pay-by-use could be a percentage of order share or could be fixed price per order. That kind of model is there, you don't incur any cost and negligible integration cost is there. That's first thing. Second, when you give a price per order, let's say you're paying per order through a marketplace or even for a little bit higher for your own website or social commerce channels, then even if it, let's say instead of 2% I make it 5%, that brings it around what, 25 rupees, 30 rupees in the overall base of a net margin of 171. Even then, your costs are much lower and your margins are much higher. So Shashwat, I have tried this for at least 100 brands, and to move to a cloud-based system, move to a pay-by-use model, you figure out that a much higher ROI is achieved. Uttam Singh, you're broadcasting a video, so you might have want to stop your Uttam Gupta.
We are stopping his video, sir.
Sure.
So, drilling you further, can you, since I am on a third-party marketplace, right, and that does not give me any help on my analytics part, right? I don't understand customer journey when, as far as when I am on a third party. So if I really need to harness the power of omnichannel and on a cloud based, can you give me more details?
Sure, absolutely. Now, I'm going to a little bit broaden the question because marketplaces don't share their customer data. So you may not have a representative sample. But as you build the entire omni-channel system, you get in control of your data because the orders are flowing through your website, the orders are flowing through your conversational commerce, and you are generally are able to make a DMP, data management platform, to of your customers. Once you've made a data management platform, you cut it into patterns. What I mean by cutting it into patterns is you are able to then see that this kind of a customer is a discount monger, this kind of customer is a fence sitter, this kind of a product, this kind of a customer always wants to buy a new product and a high price product faster. So these things you're able to analyze, and then you can create the same sets or at least have an extrapolation from a marketplace standpoint and spend your marketing dollars there more efficiently. But you have to have a very holistic omni-channel putting in together all the channels put together. Marketplaces
Thank,
won't share entire data with you.
thank you, Tapan. I will get in touch.
Sure.
Tapan sir, we have many questions, but I will go from the reverse side. I meant to say last question wise.
Sure.
There's a question, hi Tapan, how is the overall impact post reverse logistics on PNL? If you can throw some light on the basis category wise,
Sure.
considering return of fakes and wrong marketplace inventories.
Okay. So there are 3-4 questions in this question. One, you have to optimize your return to origin RTO and cancellations and everything. So each of these channels have to be optimized. Second, your individual contracts with the logistics partner should be carrying in a certain kind of a penalty clause where loss of a product or return of a fake product, etc. Certain of these are covered. So just from talking, like we have in our contracts, we have covered all these conditions for all those 100 brands. So in case the product gets lost or it's a fake return, etc., we are able to claim it to the logistics partner. And also, when you have a clear logistics management support team in place, now when we have a logistics management support team in place, we are able to identify a logistics partner, a pin code, and a delivery person where this pattern is happening. When this pattern happens, you can actually work with the logistics partner to identify that person and have it stopped.
Okay.
Did I answer the question?
Okay, Rashi.
And see, it's a very process thing. So you have to sit on that process and optimize it part by part. We have a learning of the past 7 to 8 years. We've been doing omni-channel like this for the past 8 years. So should be able to assist you with that.
Okay. Okay, there's another question from Harish Shetty. He says, how does the logistics cost be more effective in omni-channel compared to conventional? Missed that piece.
Okay, sure. I'll talk about that. So when you in a conventional model, you generally have a warehouse fulfillment model. So you have warehouse in a single location where the entire product is put in place. So it is a single pickup location. So let's say somebody is ordering from Bangalore, and let's say your warehouse is in Delhi, you would deliver it from a warehouse. In an omni-channel model, it is a store fulfillment. So somebody orders from, let's say, Bangalore, from, let's say, an area called Koramangala. The order is placed into a Koramangala store. So the fulfillment cost is like 1/3 in an ideal case. It could hence, let's say if you're incurring say 120 rupees as logistics cost from a warehouse model, you might incur ballpark say 30 rupees from a store fulfillment model. But here in the P&L, I have taken a very little impact. I have taken only 35% impact, averaging out into all corner cases. Because it is store fulfillment, your distance to customer is much lesser. It is the same state, hence the logistics cost is low.
Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. Thanks, Tapan. I mean, that's. I had one more question. How do we ensure, the inventory is being allocated fairly, especially in case of constrained SKUs, supply constrained SKUs, or a NPI SKU, newly launched SKUs? Harish here from Reliance Digital.
It's a fantastic question. This happens over a period of time. What happens is that we've been able to do, I run a marketplace for Arvind Group called now.com. So you start getting patterns that what kind of an orders are coming from what kind of an areas, what kind of a pin code, etc. Once those patterns are visible, your inventory, the way you position the inventory in the nearby areas, that logic kicks into place. So a lot of BI reports kick into place. So we use a lot of BI reports for ourselves and a lot of our partners to tell them that this is where your orders are coming from, and this is where you should, position your inventories. So we share all this data with them.
So hi Tapan, Shashwat this side once again. So Tapan, I have my inventory at third-party stores. 90% of my inventory is on third-party stores.
Franchisee model, is that what you mean?
No, these are large format stores.
Okay.
Yeah, like say likes of Reliance or likes of Max, right?
Got it.
Likes of Lulu, okay, and maybe Shoppers, maybe Lifestyle, right? So how do I, as you have correctly highlighted, that to power all the channels with one assortment, how do I service my customers using this inventory?
So
I have sold to them.
yes, I understand. So I have a process for franchisee and for the model that you're talking about. We can connect offline and I can walk you through that process. There could be a couple of contracts required with the party on to the margin share mathematics and negotiations on that place. We will generally, along with the platform, there's a mobile app which gets notifications on the order has to be fulfilled. So it could be a couple of contracts and a couple of agreements on the margin share to be discussed. If that is taken care, we can do that. It's a little bit of legal process, hence I need a longer discussion on that.
Sure. So,
Hi Tapan, I have sorry, please.
So I just Sandeep can help me with your number, right?
Yes.
With the contact details.
You are Shashwat sir, right, sir?
Shashwat.
Shashwat Mukherjee, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi Tapan. Hi Tapan. Sorry. Should I?
Sorry. No, I just wanted to have a question which is related to Shashwat. So can I ask?
Tapan, sir, you're flooded with questions and I have no. So this will be the last question. There are 10 other questions in the chat box, but this will be the last question. Please go ahead, gentlemen.
Yeah, sure.
Vivek,
This is Brijesh from Reddington, India. The question which is related to Shashwat, he said he has got material which is a third-party material in different stores. Wouldn't a geo-tagging would be evident while customers are calling, along with an Airtel AI software which is there for call centers, and then can't they coordinate and get the stores, get the stocks liquidated that way?
Brijesh, the problem is not technology related in nature. It is partially technology, partially process, and partially legal. Because the inventory is already sold to the third party. That's what Shashwat is underlining. So there has to be a contractual taking place for the margins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vivek, you were asking a question. Sandeep, if I may take Vivek's question and then we will pause with your permission.
Okay, so last one.
Vivek, you want to ask your question?
Yeah. Basically, hi, I'm Vivek from Lou Dreyfus Company. It's an agri-commodity trading company, so not in retail. but my past experience is in this. So I just want to understand, as you said, that we will take the material from the stores, and that saves, considering a proportionate delivery is 35% you have taken. But just to understand, before delivering to the store, still we are incurring that cost from our origination location. So first lag of the cost is already in built in that product when it is available at a store. So how we are going to save the 35% or something?
So what happens, and especially this is category by category, when you're able to deliver to the store in wholesale or in a bulk method, your costs are much lower, and hence I didn't take a 60-70% cost positive impact. I just took a 35% impact because you've delivered to them in a larger consignment. So that cost is much lower. When you deliver piece by two for one customer, that becomes very, very expensive. That's first point. Second, in an agri and an FMCG model, I have had a chance to work with a couple of FMCG products. We are able to, in fact, enable them self-fulfillment. And that's what an FMCG player sometimes prefers, that if it is in the vicinity of, say, 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers, they want to deliver it themselves beyond a certain cutoff value, and which works wonders for them. So that also helps a lot, Vivek, and it then brings you the benefits and gets more margins for the retailer.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Tapan sir, for your time and presentation. We'll divert all the questions to you on individual basis, sir.
Sure, Sandeep, and for all my equals, betters on this forum, give me a chance to talk to you all.
Thank you, sir.